It is 6:30.
Yes, the retail.
All right. I would like to call this meeting to order and announce that this Seguin Independent School District meeting has been duly called, and notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Opens Meeting Act, Section 551.043 of the Texas Government Code. We will now rise for our pledges to the U.S. and Texas flag, and Dr. Gutierrez, I'm going to give you the honor.
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. All right, I'll give us a minute or so for a moment of silence. And we're going to move on to our superintendent announcements.
Good evening, trustees. As you know, since our special meeting on March the 16th, our schools have remained closed. However, during that time, we have made great strides towards providing quality instruction to our students. In addition to instruction through distance learning, I feel as though our level of community support has been outstanding. Student meals, a dedicated helpline, and technology deployment are but a few of the initiatives and programs we have created for our Seguin families. We will continue to monitor, evaluate, and communicate daily at the local, regional, and state level. Additionally, we are blessed to be able to pay our employees during this extended service. I will touch upon our efforts in greater detail momentarily as we discuss items 3B on tonight's board agenda. I am so glad to report that in spite of this COVID-19 pandemic, construction continues on our brand new Matador Stadium. We will update you on our progress tonight during agenda item 3A. We will continue to provide you and the community with regular updates as we navigate the days, weeks, and the months ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gutierrez. All right, moving on to item 2, audience with the board. We designated time for audience participation at the beginning of each meeting to hear persons who desire to make comments in accordance with board policy BED local. So those wishing to speak shall sign up before the meeting. Begin by stating the concern or noting the agenda item they wish to address. Audience participation is limited to 5 minutes, and the board shall not deliberate any subject that is not on the posted agenda. We do have 2 people, we'll only let one in this evening, either Eduardo or Judith.
I was going to step out. Their husband and wife, they'd like to speak together, and I can step out.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Appreciate that. Eduardo and Judith, I think Martinez, to talk about alcohol.
I got the title.
Thank you. Good evening. Just right here in front is fine.
All right, hello everyone.
Hello.
My name is Eduardo Martinez, my wife Judith. We came today to talk about Mr. Dr. Grijalva. To talk about, sorry, I'm kind of nervous. A little bit about background. We kind of participate in school meetings. I'll be part of the school zone. My wife is sometimes volunteers for Bogle, and she used to be for bilingual assistance too. So we're kind of part of the school. So so I came to this board meeting to find out about Dr. Grijalva. About a couple actually during spring break, we were with some relatives eating barbecue, and then we found out that was Dr. Grijalva was not going to be a AGV principal no more for the next school year. I thought it was a rumor. But a couple of weeks ago, Dr. Grijalva called me to see how my kids doing and how we were doing. That we needed free food, the kids needed help with the online work. So I asked him, and I was kind of not going to ask him, but my heart told him, ask him, see why, if it's a rumor or not. So I asked him, hey, Dr. Grijalva, I heard that you're leaving the school for AGV. And he said, yeah, I won't be a principal no more. And I asked him why. He said, I don't know. I just was wanting the teachers to do their job, or pushing teachers to do their job. And so I went home and I asked my 3 kids, because my kids, the other one, he's an 11th grader, but he knew Mr. Grijalva when he was a 5th grader. So I know him 6 years. So I asked my 3 kids, what do you think about Mr. G? But that's how they know him, Mr. G. Well, he's a nice So then I asked my son Alejandro, because he's Mr. G, his principal right now. Hey Alejandro, what do you think about Mr. G? He's a nice person. You know, Mr. G won't be the principal no more. He turned around, Dad, you're joking? And then he gets on my face. No, Alejandro. I had to talk to him. I showed him the number that he called. We were talking. He said, no, Alejandro, this is serious. What do you think about Mr. G? His eyes turned kind of wanted to cry. I said, why? He's doing his job. Why do they want to do something to him for no reason when he's doing his job? I said, I don't know. I'll find out. Whenever there's a meeting, I'm gonna go and find out why. Because every time we go over there with Mr. G, he's always helping parents wherever goes, trying to help kids, teachers. He was always helping, so I don't understand why. A couple of years ago, my wife was in the hospital, and my wife, we had a little daughter. My daughter's kind of, every day she has different kind of hairstyles. So the teachers, you know, hey, you're a pretty girl. So when my wife was in the hospital, Mr. G, Grijalva called my wife. Is everything fine in your house? I said, yeah, why are you asking, Mr. G? I mean, you're still in the hospital. Oh, you're in the hospital, what happened? So my wife told her the story, right? And so, okay, I was worried, because your daughter every day was coming with a ponytail. You know why? Because I was doing my daughter's hair. So that's things matters to parents, the teachers, or in this case, Mr. G, is putting attention to the kids. So I want to know why Mr. G, he wants to push teachers to do the best. And the kids, you know, he has the ganas. In Spanish, it means the will. It's a strong word. I don't think it's fair for him to go somewhere else. If let me know what we need to do so he can stay. Because we're not stopping. My kids love him. We love him for the way he is. And I wish all the teachers could be the same way. The staff. Because sometimes we go to schools, they're rude to us. It's like, if you're being rude to us, you're being also rude to my kid. No, Mr. G's over there with a smile. That's what some staff need to learn. And you get respect. If they want to respect the kids, they need to earn the respect too.
Well, Mr. Martinez, I do appreciate y'all coming forward with your thoughts. I really appreciate it. It's nothing that we can discuss with you at this time, but your words mean a lot. So thank you for coming in.
Thank you all.
Gracias.
So, ¿puedo hablar?
She wants to know if she can talk to me.
An additional 5.
¿Otros 5 minutos?
Por favor. Espero que sea menos. Como ya les dijo, tenemos 3 niños. Alguna vez yo también fui una estudiante. Y creo que en todos mis años, desde que yo era una niña hasta ahora que soy mamá, me gustaría decir que recordar con alegría que yo hubiera visto un director como este. Y lamentablemente les puedo decir que yo no había visto a alguien que él se involucrara tanto con los niños y tanto con los papás, como él se entrega con su puesto, incluso cuando no era director. Cuando yo lo conocí, él iba a Bogo. Y fue bien sorpresivo para nosotros que cuando entramos, él fue el primero que estaba dando la bienvenida a los papás y a los niños. Y yo dije, wow, es el director. Contenta porque dije, wow, hasta que conozco quién es el director. Lamentablemente así es. Yo no conocí quién era el director. ¿Cuál fue nuestra sorpresa? Que a los días supimos que él no era el director, era asistente de director. Pero aún así se tomaba el tiempo para darnos la bienvenida, para preguntarnos qué se nos ofrecía, cómo se sienten. ¿Tienen alguna pregunta? ¿Les puedo ayudar en algo? Y como, wow, y no es el director. Con el tiempo lo fui conociendo. En ese entonces mi hijo iba en 5º grado. Y él era un muy buen niño. No se metía en problemas con nadie, pero era muy tímido. Y él tenía tanta paciencia al punto de hacerlo sentir cómodo de hablar con él, y que si él tenía alguna pregunta podía contar con él. Mi niño se abrió. Después entraron Alejandro, Cintia, y la misma cosa. Los niños, le puedo decir, del grande al más chico, siempre han sentido la confianza de que si algo pasa, él va a estar ahí, sea bueno o sea malo. Porque me ha tocado ver cómo él también, cuando tiene que llamarles la atención, lo hace de alguna manera respetuosa, y hasta los niños. Me ha tocado ver otros niños que han sido problemáticos, porque lamentablemente no todos son pasivos. Y tiene la paciencia de hablar tanto para un niño como para el otro. Y mi pregunta es, ¿por qué no lo van a quitar ahora? No entendemos la razón, porque no hay lógica para nosotros. Yo no lo he conocido de otra manera, mis hijos no lo han conocido de otra manera. Si les preguntan ellos también, y yo creo que a muchos otros niños, porque como dijo él, yo he estado de voluntaria y me ha tocado ver varias situaciones en las que él ni se da cuenta que yo estoy observando. Pero precisamente por eso voy a la escuela, porque me gusta observar. Dijeran, soy de las mamás metiches que les gusta estar para las buenas y para las malas, porque en cuanto entran niños a la escuela yo les doy el número. Cualquier cosa que pase, buena o mala, yo quiero saber. Cualquier situación, háblenme, aquí yo voy a estar. Si el niño hizo algo mal, háblenme, que créanme que yo voy a trabajar con él. Se supone que los niños, la escuela es trabajar papás, alumnos, maestros, directores. Pero es muy triste que cuando se trata de tomar una decisión así, casi siempre somos los últimos en enterarnos. Él nos dio esta oportunidad de que de verdad sea eso que se llama alumno, maestro, director, escuela. Sí se toma de verdad el tiempo. Me hubiera gustado yo haber tenido un director así, no lo tuve. Ahora que mis hijos lo tienen, no entiendo la razón por la cual lo quieren sacar.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Can I enter?
Sure.
She also has very high praises of Dr. Grijalva. She's never known a director that has been as personable and caring, basically what Mr. Martinez said. But they're wanting to know why he's being removed. I don't think they understand our procedure. Would you like for me to explain that to you? En estos minutos que tienen que ustedes hablaron
en cuento del doctor Grijalva, ¿verdad? Es nomás, ese es lo que nosotros nomás podemos hacer, es oír lo que ustedes los quieren decir, pero no lo podemos contestar porque es situación personal con el doctor Grijalva.
Y lo entiendo. Pero como madre estoy preocupada. Alejandro tenía mucho miedo de venir a 6 grados. No quería venir a 6 grados, tenía miedo porque incluso como padres, lástima que no vinieron otros papás. Pero yo conozco tantas amigas, tantos de la escuela, que era su misma preocupación. Híjole, ya van a ir a 6 grados y dicen que en 6 grados se salen del huacán, que porque se vuelven más tremendos. Y tenía un poco de nervios yo también. Cuando supe que iba a estar mi Grijalva, dije, ok, Alejandro va a estar bien. No le quisimos decir nada hasta estar seguros de que iba a estar él. Cuando ya tuvimos la seguridad de que él iba a estar en 6 grados, le dijimos, Alejandro estaba feliz. Y hasta la fecha, él no hay un día que se levante y diga, yo no quiero ir a la escuela. Él se levanta todos los días a la escuela y voy a ir a la escuela, mami, ya me voy a levantar porque ya no voy a ir a la escuela. De verdad, no ha habido un día en el que él reniegue que tenga que ir a la escuela, cuando él ni siquiera quiere ir a la escuela. Se siente cómodo, se siente protegido. Y sabe que si él hace algo mal, mi hija va a buscar la manera de hacerlo, ver que está haciendo mal, correctamente. Y se siente protegido de que si algo pasa, sabe que va a estar él para ver qué es lo que se puede hacer para solucionar el problema. Queremos saber qué es lo que podemos hacer como padres para mejorar o ver qué es lo que podemos hacer para evitar que pase esto.
Just want to know what they can do.
Well, you've done a lot. It takes a lot of integrity for you to come and speak to us tonight. I know you were nervous, but it doesn't show. And you're very loud and clear with what you wanted to tell us, and we'll take it under consideration. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Gracias.
Muchas gracias. Con permiso.
Okay, moving on to item 3, we have 3 information or reports, starting off with our Bond 2019 project update. We will have to wait for Mr. Lewis to come back to give us that update. Thank you, Mr. Lewis.
Musical people.
A strange world we're living in. And thank you, Ms. Moreno.
Oh, you're welcome. I know the parents.
We do.
My turn.
It's
To
your
the church, not
Starting
the
with the
school.
bond.
Okay, so brief bond update of what work that's been going on. It's almost, we put these together and then a day later, there's already something new or something better. So this is, even though this was put together Friday, I almost feel like it's out of date. So first we'll talk a little bit about Matador Stadium. Again, we're in the construction phase and we're at about 50% right now. So going fast. A lot of the ground, a lot of the work on the site work and the ground is done. The field's in. We're just putting the finishing touches on the field. The ticket booths are going up. The foundations are going in for the concessions. The visitor side stands are constructed. So you can kind of see here a view that is under the stands. You can see how the stands above, they're solid. We talked about that, how they're not porous. So you can walk underneath it and stuff's not falling through. Or when you're at the band concert and you got to get out of the rain for a minute, you can walk under the stands. You can see the shell of the concessions and restrooms going up there on the visitor side. There's a picture of the visitor side stands and I believe that's the home side ticket booth right there. There's a view from the home side to the visitor side. You can see the stands. You can see
It's so exciting.
the Matadors in the end zone. You can see we added that white border around the entire field. It really just kind of makes it pop right there. And then you can see there's so much more space between the field and the
So
track.
as soon as we can get out and about, can we please have a
Yeah, we were supposed to have one on the 17th for the Bond Oversight Committee, but of course that got canceled. We were supposed to have a little tour, but it wasn't even this close to being done. But once we can get out and about, we can do we'll definitely have a
little photo op?
tour. So
One of those awkward social distancing.
Yes.
so yes,
No, as soon as we can. I want a big group hug right in the.
okay.
Right above the crossword
So-
S's.
The big piece,
Yes.
visitors, the home site stands, of course, which is much bigger than it was before. That's the big piece that's going to be going in next. They've already started laying down the aluminum for that, so that's all coming in. They're still working on the press box heavily right now, so a lot of the work is getting that. Got to get that press box up, and at a certain point before they'll start putting stands in pretty soon. But they have to use those large cranes, and the stands are getting in the way right now with the cranes as they're moving steel. So, but that'll start coming here pretty soon. I guess a positive of not having school, it kind of frees up that space over there a little bit, so they can kind of spread out a little bit more and not be quite as contained. So it kind of helps things move along.
The track's not set in though, is it?
No, the track is not, and that's just the base of the track. The track is actually going to be gray when it's all said and done. It's not going to be red. We picked the gray one. It just fits with the color scheme a whole lot better than a red one. Just didn't match the golds and the greens and the such that were in the blacks. It just didn't really matter. Didn't match real well. You can see the press box going up. That is a massive structure, and it's definitely one I will not be scared to walk on anymore, or two when we go up there. So I'm excited about that. And it's going up. It's going up pretty quick. It's amazing to watch them work and see the additions that are going on every day.
Is the elevator behind where the stairs are?
So you cannot see the elevator yet. It is going up on, the elevator shaft will be on this side.
Okay.
It'll go up the side. So it's a separate structure that goes up just on this side of the press box. And then
Thank you.
you would walk out and you would walk straight into the door that would take you into the press box. You
So
don't go
is it
through.
gonna be on the same side as the concession stand?
So it's kind of set, those concessions come all the way to the end, so it's kind of set back
Behind the,
behind the concession.
got it.
I think it's kind of actually, I don't think it's all the way past the concession stand, because the concession stands go all the way, they go really deep underneath, so it's kind of out to the side of it. But it's in the back, so it's not in the way, it won't be something new.
Okay.
But it's got to be, it's accessible. We kind of walk around the back of the concession stand to get to the elevator. EJB, we're kind of in the same place we were last time. We really need, we're working on trying to plan another meeting now. If we want to do it in April, it's probably going to be a virtual meeting, but it doesn't really lend itself for an online meeting so much, because we want to look at plans, we want pictures, we want you up close and personal with the plan. So we're going to work something out. If we have to do it online, at least we can get something in online. I know we had some other topics to discuss during that one, so I know we're working with Dr. Gutierrez to try to plan what we're going to talk about and when moving forward.
Will we still be allowed to have meetings like this?
They're recommending that we don't
Okay.
moving forward. So we'll have to talk through what that workshop can look
Okay.
like.
So activity, we've had meetings with we got all those in before spring break, or in February, and then a little bit more before spring break. They're still working on our design, 50% design specs. We're going through those, looking at, they sent us those the other day, so we're going through those, checking those out as we move forward. Again, we kind of came up with this design with the staff, faculty of AJB. I think we're pretty happy with this layout and where things are going to be, and the instructional spaces and the restrooms and the conference areas and the workrooms. And we really think it's going to look it's gonna be a really nice layout when it's all said and done, where things are and how traffic's gonna move and how students are gonna move around the school. Okay, that's kind of the concept, the design phase document. Here's some little more colored in pictures. No, we have not picked colors yet. I just want to know, these are all skip designs, they're not finals.
Tell me where that is right now.
So-
Is that the loading dock?
So right there, if looking at the top left picture, if you look to the right of that, that's the loading dock and cafeteria. So that is that hallway
Oh, got
that
it.
goes between the
Yeah.
300 wing and the cafeteria. That's
Right.
gonna be the main entrance, because the current cafeteria is gonna be the front office when it's all said and done.
Wow.
Yeah, okay.
And then the mall area is gonna be the library. So
And the cafeteria will
the
be,
cafeteria will be set in the back, the pink area at the top.
oh, okay.
This will
It's
be,
that space between the 302 and what?
so you got
between the elective
this is like
area.
the 400
Yeah.
area, and this is the 200 area. So it's that open space, and then back, this is all new construction.
Where did that be?
It's gonna be
In
the
front of
cafeteria.
the-
That's part of phase one, so they'll get into the cafeteria. It'll be one of the first things that they are able to use after year one. So if we start in February, or the following August, they should be in the cafeteria. And then this will all shut down, and then that'll be
February of 2021.
2022. So we start construction February 2021. We're in 2020, so it's February 2021, construction starts. They work through the summer, the fall, spring, and then it'll be ready for that next school year.
And that extension on the pink, that's the kitchen.
This is the kitchen service area, kitchen, and this is the road in the back. So we're gonna actually go through and straighten out that road in the back a little bit, too. It's gonna get a redesign. And then the loading docks will be back here. This will be another entrance, nice entrance into the school right here.
I'm just so happy the loading docks are not in front.
Yeah, they will be out of the way, in the back, and
Excuse me?
accessible and not block the streets, so that they can get in there and not block.
So
the
Bill,
streets.
where's the front, where's the entrance?
Where's north and south?
So right here, this is the front, and this will be the new front entrance of the school, right here. This is the current front
Office.
entrance. This is the current office about right here. So this is the current front entrance. It'll be over here. This is the gym entrance. This all stays, this kind of stays the same as far as just the layout. This will all get renovated, and there's some walls moving and some things shifting around in there, but for the most part, this
Like the
stays.
room, the dressing area for the athletes and stuff is all kind of the same.
Kind of the same, but it's gonna get a facelift, and there's some walls that are gonna move, and some storage, some things are gonna change in there as far as some walls and some configurations, but, and then, we're adding, this is that 500 wing,
Mhm.
right here. So you can
Mhm.
see we're expanding,
There's like 2 classrooms back there?
yes, there's 2 classes, we're expanding out a little bit, I think, into that
Mm.
area. So,
What's
And
that
The
orange?
cafeteria is like barns and the stage.
yes, right here, so the stage will then lead into classroom back over here for theater arts.
What is that orange?
So they are marked as CTE classrooms, so this will be like, kind of like at the high school where you have the robotics room, where you have a room and then a room attached to it. These will kind of be dual rooms, so if you wanted to use them as a lab and a workspace, or it could be used as 2 classrooms, be very flexible, kind of, we're calling for CTE.
And that's kind of where the social studies area?
Yeah, that's what we used to call the social studies area. And then,
Am I correct in saying that each hallway will have a science lab or 2?
so right here we have science labs. So you got 2 big science labs, and then you have a little bit smaller science lab.
Mm-hmm.
So you can use it 2 ways. So it could be 3 classrooms, or it could be 2 classrooms and then shared space. So you got 1, 2, 3. So actually,
For each grade
for
level?
a school this size, they recommend up to 9 science labs. So you actually have 9 rooms that can be science, but with our current configuration, I mean, you're still using your 6, 2 per grade level, but then you got an extra space that could either be used as a classroom or it could be used as a shared space between the science.
So what's the present day science lab gonna turn into?
So this is gonna be special ed classrooms.
Got it.
So they're gonna be very large. We're gonna keep a lot of the cabinetry in there because they like all the cabinet work in those rooms. It's very nice and very good. So we're keeping a lot of that millwork already there. And we're gonna turn those into those essential academics classrooms. It'll also be probably the behavior unit might be over here, those kind of things. So, and then this right here will be like a lab space, like a technology lab space in one of those science rooms. So these rooms are just great sizes and they lend themselves well to be adapted into some other items.
So then, therefore, then the old science, where the science is presently, it's gonna be connected to the main
Yes, so all this is one continuous
hall?
hallway. So we'll go right through there. We're adding some restrooms, some workspace, some collaborative spaces in each area. So they can come out.
How many can that house? How many students?
I think we're up to like 1,100
Oh, okay.
for the school, that 1,000 to 1,100 range. So,
Leaves a little room for growth.
so we got room. I
Yeah,
mean,
'cause
that's,
they're around 900 right now. right?
they're at about 750.
Just under 8.
Oh, okay.
So once you get to there, I mean, we're talking about over 2,000 middle school kids, and then we're going to be, if we're in that kind of growth phase, we're going to be having other discussions about other spaces. So
Tell me again, what's the blue in front of the administrative office?
this is the library right here.
Library.
So this is your current locker mall right here. And we're even thinking about putting a roof on it. We're going to make that an option.
I'm gonna shed a little tear, getting rid of the loading dock, the locker
Locker
mall.
mall.
But take pictures now.
You know, I have a picture when the lockers were inside the locker mall.
So this upper
And I
left-hand
was shorter
picture
than they are.
is the one that he says was the entrance, and so when you walk in, this is what that front vestibule would look like as you come in. There's the vestibule as you walk into the school, and there's the doors to get you into the school.
Nice.
Here's a picture of what the cafeteria would look like. We deck it out.
If we're gonna have a production, you're gonna have to turn those tables to face the
Yes,
stage.
not a problem. They're all movable,
And they flip
spreading,
up,
they
right?
flip, they'll
Okay, good.
have good seating. Here's that locker mall, so you're kind of looking.
You can have a good sound system, right?
It's all good, yeah. At least one jam box and
And a recorder.
we'll have nice, yes, it's all
Don't
good.
play Bill.
No playing,
Get it, play Bill?
Playbill.
I'm here all night.
So there's the library. This is kind of when you're walking from the main hallway into the locker area. This is kind of what you would see walking towards that.
It's just hard to imagine.
atrium. And it's hard to imagine, but
Complete transformation.
here's a picture.
I approve.
This is this is the library in the bottom right-hand corner. And in this upper left-hand corner, this would be one of those open areas out in front of the classrooms in one of those pods. This would be an instructional space out in front of one of those, and those 3 pods would be 3 of these. So
Nice.
kind of like up on the 3rd floor of the high school a little bit. So we really want to get you FaceTime with the architects, and they really want to come and be a part of that too, and just lay out some of those designs and see those pictures in big and color. And we're going to try to work something out to see how we can make that work. We started talking about Jefferson. We toured the campus with Ms. White. Engineers have been going through, so we kind of surveyed it, looking at current conditions. We did a walkthrough in February. And so we are going to start with our site designs, schematic design submittals is going to be coming up here. Once we kind of went through and made a list of things we're going to want to address in our wish list for those couple of areas, those 2 buildings in Jefferson. Playgrounds. Has anybody seen a playground recently?
I have.
It's really nice. So Rodriguez, basically the playground is complete. There's still a shade structure that's going to go up, but that wasn't scheduled till the summer because we didn't want us to close any playgrounds during the year. So that shade structure will go up over one of the current playgrounds, which for the most part Rodriguez is done. The spider net's up, the I'll show a picture here in a second, it's pretty good. McQueenie Playground and sidewalks are complete, there's some detail work going on over at McQueenie still. Potlawn and Jefferson, the flat work is near complete, and they're starting playground construction. And actually today, they started doing some site work for sidewalks over at Vogel. So even from Friday, this is, they've already moved there, they got a little bit ahead. So they're working, Pete talks with them daily, that work has not slowed down. And that crew is still working and going fast. So upper left, you can see the spider. This was taken before it was finished, but you can see the spider net. Some of these pictures are cool because we have all that rain going on and you get these neat pictures going on. And in the bottom, you can see the nice wide sidewalk leading out to the playscape at Rodriguez.
Custodians are going to be thrilled.
This is going to help our buildings, cleanliness of our buildings greatly, especially with our kids going out 2, 3, 4 times a day. It's just, traffic is in and out is just increasing. This is really going to help get rid of some of that dirt and grime going into the buildings. Here you can see McQueenie. Remember we built McQueenie one on the, I want to go back. You can't see it on this one real well, but right here is, if you can't go to the U, is that what do we call it, merry-go-round, what do we call them?
Mm-hmm.
That's first of its kind in built right here in the country.
Because of
It's
the
right there, because it is
ADA.
ADA accessible. You can just walk, roll, whatever, right onto it, and then you go. It's really cool. That was I think that might have been the first install of that model ever. So we were
Anywhere in the nation?
yes, from that company. Now, if there's other, from that company that designed that, that's the first one.
Morgan's Wonder World has something similar.
For this company, this was their very first one.
Neat.
So you can also just notice the bright colors on things. It's very bright, very fun. This is the one at McQueenie. Remember we built that one on the slab, so that one does not have a submerged merry-go-round. It has a little bit different one, kind of more of a traditional one, but it does have some, it's not the roll-in one. You can see the sidewalk we built out in McQueenie. Remember, most of this stuff can be unscrewed and relocated. So if we get to the point where we can build another school within a timely manner, some of the stuff could be moved and reused in another facility. You can see Jefferson, they've already started sidewalk. It's a long sidewalk, nice wide sidewalk leading out to their play area. You see Potlawn started, got this nice sidewalk that was needed. Another kind of cool picture at the top there, the dark clouds. There's Potlawn. You can see playground construction has started at Potlawn. And today we had some Vogel work done, so I have a picture of the Vogel one. So it's going fast. So hopefully our kids will get to come back to Rodriguez and maybe McQueenie and maybe Potlawn, I don't know, and enjoy their new playground equipment before the school's out. That's where we stand right now on construction.
Any other questions, comments?
No, just so quick, has there been any issues with the city inspectors, or I don't know if most?
No, we've been moving right along. I mean, the stuff at the stadium, all that got taken care of before construction started. So there's things that pop up here, the water meter or this, but everybody's been great working through it, and the city's been working on this.
Oh, it's again a lot smaller than Austin, but in Austin they're having some real issues with the inspectors actually making it to the site.
Yeah, we don't have that problem because I think they hang lunch over there and hang out or something. I don't know. No, they're always, it's a big project going on, so they're usually pretty much on top of it. And Pamela Santana's been great in the city. She's always great with us. So we appreciate that.
Well, I know Coach Bush is excited.
Very excited. He wanted to get it there, throw in that field, like get the kids out there now, but it's not going to happen right now.
All right, well, that's a good segue to our next item. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Gutierrez, you're going to be speaking with us about coronavirus update.
Yes, and Mr. Lewis as well. We put the same talking points. Some of it is same information you already know, but wanted to also give an opportunity to discuss other areas that may come up, as there are probably a lot of questions. It seems like every day we're getting new information from the Texas Education Agency as far as updates and guidance on finance, or TELPAS, or assessment, or areas of SPED, and so every day we're learning. But you've got over 1,000 superintendents that are participating in that call, so we're all in the same boat here. And so as we learn more, try to keep you all informed day to day. Obviously, the latest is the school closure extension to be aligned with the executive order from the governor through May 4th. Been in conversation with area superintendents, and very close conversation with Marion and Navarro, and really share out the same communication. There was a lot of discussion about going past that May 4th with other districts. I'm not sure what they decided on, but we felt strongly about sticking with what the governor outlined for us for the school closure. And then we may have another update in a week, 2 or 3. Usually we think it's going to be a few days prior to, we were anticipated to start back on April the 13th for staff and the 14th for students, and so we really thought that it would be a week or so prior to that. And here we are, we already have a decision for the closing of school. With school closed and students learning online, I know there's probably a lot of questions that you're thinking about as a parent, grandparent. What does attendance look like? What does grades look like? Well, what are teachers doing? How do we know teachers are monitoring? This is a whole new virtual world, and I'm really proud of the work that the team has done. What I've provided for you all are the remote learning plans, and I won't go through page by page, for elementary schools, the middle schools, and the high school. And this is a resource as well as a guide for those levels that outline the expectations for our teachers and our students. Elementaries work closely together, the 2 middle schools and the high school team, to make decisions along with the LLS department as far as the number of assignments, when are teachers going to be available to parents, what are their so-called office hours, because we are requiring teachers to be available at certain times during the day. We are requiring teachers to participate in virtual PLCs, an opportunity to see an elementary one. Just a lot of great dialogue that's happening. And it's neat to see how all schools, particularly elementary, you have all seven schools, kindergarten teachers coming together to talk about remote learning is just really transformational, and it happened in a fast way, and all of this work put together.
I see the expectations here of the teachers, and I know a lot of them have children at home that they're parenting as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's a lot to juggle. How are you dealing with them on that?
And there's a lot of flexibility. So what we're asking for when you have that time frame, it's that you're available. That's when you're emailing parents or you're returning phone calls. You're not confined to your office chair at home. It's just, that's when we want you available. If the principal needs to call you, they're going to call you during that block of time. And yeah, teachers are participating in webinars or online PLCs, and they may be carrying a little one. So there's a lot of understanding and flexibility for that. It's not a time where they have to be on the entire time. It's just a range that outlines when communication is going to happen.
I was listening to a program this morning, and they said that we're gonna probably encounter this next year again. And I'm saying, let us learn from this and be prepared for next year, just in case.
You said there might be another round of the virus.
Yes.
We'll have a vaccine by then.
Yeah.
Yes, but then again,
We are, we're working with other districts, aligning much of our work with theirs. I'm very proud of what we have as far as our guidance for staff, as far as the online platform with what we placed on our website. I think we've done some amazing work that other districts are mimicking. And it's still, we're still learning as we go. We encounter new questions that come every day. I think attendance is a big wondering, so Bill, I'll let you speak to attendance.
So what we received from the state is we're basically going to code everybody absent for the however long we're out with a certain code, and then it's not going to count. Not really going to count against us. We'll have to do a waiver for all those days, just to say, hey, these were virus waiver days. It's going to be its own waiver, we believe.
Would that be true of every school district in Texas?
Every school district in Texas. So, so things change a little different. I mean, a little different. We're not taking attendance day to day because we're not collecting ADA like we would normally collect ADA. They're going to have a different plan for us for being out. We can't really do that. There is an item on the board tonight. It's just basically a statement that we're providing. Hey, we're trying to provide instruction while we're out. That's just all that really that paper does. And then when we do it, once we're back and we know we have our ending date, then we'll bring to the board. We have till, I believe, June 18th to bring to the board a waiver, whatever that waiver application ends up looking like. We'll bring that to the board to send to the state to apply for our waiver. So we'll walk through the steps going through it. I know the campuses are trying to find ways to document how many times they see kids, how they start working, make appearances. So they're working on those pieces as well. But we've been told, I mean, don't worry about funding and attendance and AD. I mean, all that's not supposed to be at the top of our list right now. We're not supposed to worry about that. We have started, believe it or not, we have started withdrawing and enrolling kids. We have kids who have moved here from other districts, and so we have started enrolling kids, and we've had a couple kids withdraw. So that have gone with another parent or have their custody situation has changed, and so the parent has taken them somewhere else. So we've had some of those instances. We got kids that are graduating from MBOC, they're finishing, so and when a kid graduates, that's just a withdrawal. So what there's withdrawing from school as they graduate. So those kids transcripting and having those kids continue to work and graduate. So
Not coming into New York.
I haven't seen one from New York yet. I've seen a couple from San Marcos. So I've had one leave for San Antonio.
Is,
And it could be babysitting type, you know what I'm saying?
Could be.
Oh, a lot of hardships.
Yeah, a hardship.
and the business office, how is that working?
They've got a rotation schedule. They're really trying to make sure that they're keeping their distance, and went into a meeting today, and it was Mr. Hilberg and two of the payroll folks, and sitting pretty far apart, but they really do have a rotating schedule. They're not all here at once, but that's an essential function. That
We got them all set up to work on laptops at home.
a lot of the work they can do at home, but there are some things that have to be done
They come in
here.
and print checks and do some certain things. But they can access what they need. They have the business software has a very specific, secure setup, and so we have to set them up in a very special way with a virtual network and things like that, so secure network.
So most staff are remotely working or trying to work maintenance house?
Most staff are working remotely. We do have essential staff that are, for example, your child nutrition workers, your transportation workers. They're either distributing meals or delivering meals to those remote bus routes. You have custodial staff who are on staff to just ensure proper maintenance throughout the day for a limited number of hours. We've got maintenance facility staff.
They're like on shifts right now, they're not all here, kind of taking different, rotating through shifts in a smaller group. Same thing with custodians, we're keeping 2 at the element, we just don't want anybody to be alone anyway. For
Right.
safety reasons, so there's at least 2, there's 2 in elementary, and there's 4 at secondary campuses for several hours.
And they're still being paid, I just.
They are, and I think the longer that we know we're gonna be closed until May, then we will start limiting the number of hours that we'll need, because we're having, I mean, no one's in a school, we'll start limiting, but the hourly employees or non-exempt employees who are coming in, for example, the 2 clerical payroll people who are here today, you're getting a premium, you're getting time and a half for coming in. Your custodians, your child nutrition workers, your transportation workers, those are going to be considered an extra cost. What TEA is telling us is not to worry about school finance. You're going to be taken care of to document all of the extra costs that are coming as a result of this pandemic, because what they are anticipating is that we will be reimbursed. Well, now we also learned that there's going to be stimulus dollars that are going to come to schools, and I was sent a link that I shared with Tony and Bill from Region 20, and it's estimating, just an estimate, that Seguin ISD would receive just under 1.5 million. So that's also monies that can be utilized to compensate, especially our child nutrition workers, because they're federally funded and we're not getting the funding right now that we're accustomed to. Those are dollars that we would use to compensate them.
Is there anything we can do, like, what about like our crossing guards and substitutes?
So all hourly employees are being compensated. If you're a long-term sub, you have a long-term assignment. We've got subs who are responsible for a high school course or an elementary course. They're getting compensated. Now, what we aligning with many other districts, we're not compensating all subs. You've got some subs that work in 3, 4, 5 different districts, so they may only come to us twice a month. You have some that come 10 times a month, some that come almost every day. So we're continuing to monitor and reevaluate that, but right now what the decision has been is that our long-term subs would be compensated.
And one you're going to fall into that group, or for like 3 months, I think we'll need to get $600 a week. I know if you were tagged as furlough, like if you were sort of a company, then you become furlough, you're going to get unemployment, and then in addition to that, it's going to be $600. So maybe they both that.
Yeah, and typically substitutes don't, but we're in this is a completely just something we've never experienced. There are full-time subs, that's what their career is. And so I think it's going to look a little bit different from that standpoint.
So the state isn't really requiring, like you mentioned earlier, Bill, on the remote learning. There's no, it's new to us, it's new to everybody. They got that. I have heard though on the radio a lot, and also just, and you mentioned it, documentation. As long as they document how many hours.
And we've learned a lesson from Hurricane Harvey, that the documentation piece is important. And just what we have is, look at our website, that's solid documentation. The hard packets that we're providing, the guidelines, that's the type of documentation that they're looking at. And again, TA is saying right now y'all have so much flexibility, but while you have flexibility, you've got to make sure that you're documenting that there is a continuation of instruction happening across the board.
And these are available to teachers, parents?
These are just hot off the press.
Okay.
So I'm not, I believe the only ones who have seen this are LLS and our administrators. I'm not sure if they've been sent out yet.
Because I just want parents to be aware that, yes,
Yeah, no,
there are
and it
trainings
should be something that's shared so that parents know what the expectations are.
Right.
Oh, so teachers are available between
Right,
this hour and this hour.
Well, and I see times, is this for a grade?
right.
Does my kid have to do this? Is this for a grade? So this is nice, it says, 2 grades per week.
And we're pretty much, Region 20 conducted a survey and they shared the results today for the districts that participated. There may have been about 26. And we're pretty in line with what they're doing in other districts in our region. It's either for elementary 1 grade a week to 2 grades a week. There are some districts that have decided no grades for elementary. There's flexibility, but we're about where most others are, and even closely aligned to what Navarro is too. I mean, people compare, people have friends whose kids go to Navarro, so we're pretty close to what they're doing.
The assignments that they're sending out, what's the usual length of time that kids are spending? Like, they're not spending all 6 hours doing this.
No, and that's not the
It's outlined.
expectation.
It is,
It's-
outlined.
Okay.
What
It
yeah.
is, and it's very reasonable.
Okay.
And I think it'll be good for guidance for parents, because some parents are thinking, how do I keep my child busy? I want them learning like they do in school.
Well, and there's parents who are working too,
Yeah.
that are essential, I mean, they're still working and then
But there will be a lot of time for reading, which is a good thing if parents have them reading.
And one thing I'm proud of is looking at last week's participation on iStation for K-5. I was really blown away by the number of, you've got grade levels that are up, I think it was kinder, and I may be wrong, 70% participated in iStation last week, upwards to the 80s.
wow.
And it counts all kids in every grade level, and so that's really encouraging to see those numbers. Maybe kids are getting really bored too. They're reading, but now that we know we're going to be at home longer, we want to start thinking of creative ways to challenge kids, like incentivize our top MyOn readers for the week in the district at these grade levels. There are things that we're going to need to start doing because kids are going to be at home longer.
They've been hit hard. I mean, they've been so accustomed to 5 days out of the week, they're 6 hours with their friends, so, not totally socializing, but in contact with people.
And a lot of the learning today is social.
Right.
You're interacting.
And then we cut it off.
Do we have any knowledge, information on who has no internet connections?
We are, and I'm very thankful that parents feel comfortable coming to me directly, and I've had parents email me in Spanish and English, and we've routed them to support. I think our estimates on the number that don't have access we're probably at, what is a rough estimate?
12, 15% maybe?
And so we've got to continue to develop ways to make sure kids have access. We've got the Wi-Fi spots. I think we've realized we need to have hotspots for kids. No one can get them right now. You've got the buses that are going to neighborhoods with Wi-Fi, but there's a lot of limitations. For one, you can't buy the technology to do that right now, but there's a lot of limitations because you have to be right there. So we're looking at ways to expand our access and investing whenever the demand is low in additional hotspots for students. But thankfully there are a lot of companies that are doing things, whether it's free or low rate, that we've been able to get parents connected to.
And then there's always the hard copies, right?
Yes.
There's nothing else.
Are we mailing those out if they can't come in
We will probably get to a point there. You're already seeing some districts say that they're only going to mail them. You're seeing districts say they're closing their meal distribution sites. So right now you can pick up, but that could change. And again, that's an extra cost. If we take on that, that's an extra cost that we also document.
We're going to bring people in, put all that together,
Yeah.
and mail them out. So we're going to still
So-
bringing people together.
This is it's basically 5 extra weeks that we're going to be closed.
Yeah. About 5 more.
Why are they closing down their meal distribution?
The risk.
There's some that have gone, I've seen those gone to once a week.
In places where there are many cases, we'll have to, hopefully we don't get to that point. If we do, we'll have to be very creative to ensure kids are getting food. And the numbers increase every day, and Bill sent that data for just a couple of weeks, and really in reality it was a week and a half, 26,000 meals in a week and a half, because the first couple of days we had few sites. We kept adding, and I'm glad that we did add a site at Batlon, at Jefferson and Ball, because those have really high participation.
And then you did the bus routes.
And then the bus routes have high participation as well. And I'm just so thankful for the transportation staff and child nutrition staff, because they're taking time away from their kids and their family. They're putting themselves on the front lines. But you talk to them and they're so happy to do it. They care for these kids, and anything to make sure kids get food. We've got such caring people across the board. It's just been so neat to see how everyone has come together.
Do we have our child nutrition staff, are they wearing masks at this point? I heard today on the news that there may
I've
be a
seen-
mandate across the nation that everybody wears
They're
masks.
reconsidering, I heard
Right.
adult CDC reconsidering now.
So,
Well, I've seen them wear masks, and
are
not
we
all
providing
of
them
them,
with masks?
not consistent.
Department is.
Departments, okay.
I mean, like today, we provided all the folks, we did three or four masks to every campus for iPad distribution. So anybody that was going up to the car
Right,
could have a mask, and they had gloves.
right.
I would say one other thing, that we need help to do whatever project you're doing. Would you consider hiring those folks that are at the lower end of the wage scale and give them some work, because they really need it a lot more than administrators.
And that's really our thinking when we need, for example, support putting packets together. We'll bring in clerical staff to help some of the directors, because it is also providing additional compensation. So we do consider that, absolutely. And they deserve it. They're coming in to, whether they're putting together packets or
But I would say aides, whoever is at the lower level of the wage scale, if they can do what you need, get them involved first, because they need the money more than the higher compensated individuals.
It's like our bus drivers. So we got a lot of bus drivers helping with.
Whoever.
They're in there. The maintenance guys are all getting cycled through now, so they're picking up extra time, and so those
we
guys
have
are
bus transportation, deliver books. So, things that you usually don't do, you're doing. Everyone's chipping in, and I'm just thankful that we're able to compensate that way.
So how does a bus route, give us an example, like, kind of picture it, they just have a bus and they load up the food and they go to different routes. Do those routes increase? Have people call in and say, hey, can you add me to the list or no?
We added at least one from a request, but we try to hit the high density areas that are away from the city center. So some bus routes, there's 1-2 people that live down live down a road, so it's not going down every road, but it's trying to go to, I think one of them's the post office in Kingsbury, and so that's kind of a central location.
Country Acres off of,
Country Acres or something.
that's
There's
a heavily
the
populated.
Grove out 725, there's a lot of kids out there, they can all walk down to the road and
It's a trailer park.
so we're trying to hit the high density areas.
So you have the bus driver and then someone helping the bus driver go?
Yeah,
Yes,
there's a person to
and
help.
some kids, we learned that, okay, they don't have the means to get to a site, whether it's a remote route or a school. Our student services team is helping by doing deliveries of food as well, so that can average to 30 a day, just depending. But parents are reaching out, asking for help, and we'll continue to adjust as we see that there are needs, and nothing is set in stone. And we're always sending out communication, and people don't seem to mind all of the changes.
Well, we all know that this is a community of extreme need, and I'm so happy to hear that people are reaching out to us. And they're not afraid to reach out to us. It says a lot.
And thank you, and the administrative staff and all the staff for, jumping on it really quick. We didn't
Yeah, we were
hem-haw
ahead of
about
the
it.
game. We were far ahead of a lot of other districts.
Mhm.
Yeah, especially on the remote learning, I mean, we're way ahead.
That too.
It's amazing how
Mhm.
everything came together, and just really proud.
Yeah, please extend our gratitude to everyone. Everyone from the top to the bottom. Is there anything else that you want to talk about?
Bill, have we missed anything? You know, the campuses, they're continuing to be cleaned where there's utilization, which is at a minimal. The helpline is going very well. There's an average of maybe 20 calls up to 40 something in a given day. People are calling a wide range of needs being met. So I'm just really glad that we have that in place for students' needs to continue to be met, whether it's a question on math or they need some counseling, to be able to offer that. And now, so all of these vendors are reaching out. I'm just bombarded with emails. And it says a lot about vendors. You've got vendors that are giving you free access during this time, and you've got people who want to make money. There was one basically wanting to do this for us, provide this platform. We have it covered internally for free. But those are the kinds of businesses that are coming up right now. And to be able to do the online learning internally, not to rely on outside consultants or vendors, or the helpline, is really something that I'm really proud of.
Good job. Very good job.
Well, you know, there's a lot of rumors out there, not just in Seguin, but throughout the nation, state, about whether school's going to come back at all this year, and if it doesn't, are we going to start early? Are we going to go year-round? And I know there are no answers to any of those questions, but I do want to say we appreciate you keeping us in the loop when there are discussions about these things. So,
And we're,
crystal ball.
yeah, and I think it's important, especially because I think so many of us feel disconnected. I just added all the directors to the SLT discussion, even if it's just to listen in. We take for granted the ability to just walk to someone's office or to have an informal conversation in the foyer. So it's we're an email that's meant to go to principals, but it's valuable information for you all. This is a time where we've got to keep you on the loop because we're not seeing you all as frequently either. So communication is of the utmost importance, and I think that once things get back to normal, Seguin ISD is going to operate in an even much more efficient and effective way.
Well, it's easy for folks to get frustrated and,
It is.
they're wanting to do more, and sometimes it's just better to know know your role, know where you stand in things, and when you're called upon, do what you're called upon to do. And
I think that there's going to be a lot of people that are more appreciative of the schools,
yes.
Oh, I think so.
Oh,
Yeah.
and
yes.
especially of teachers and what
Yes.
they have to deal with on a daily basis.
There was also a story that I came across this morning, I think, about some school districts performing like a daycare for first responders. And they were concerned about those schools and what they were doing or where they were
One
going to
happening
close.
here.
And give the first responders more problems to consider. So, I didn't
Are
know what to think of
daycares
that.
open?
I didn't either.
Yeah, you can. There are some school districts that are providing that for their communities. If there becomes a need, we'll discuss that
That are still
further.
open?
But for, yeah. Right now, we still have
And don't let parents in?
childcare.
And I want to say that on
I don't think they do
answering
let
calls,
parents in.
the parents have been great. Just working with parents and, you know, through, a lot of times if I just tell them, if you'll hand that iPad to your kid, I'll be glad to help them solve the problem. 'Cause usually I can get it done quicker when the kid's on the phone. But they have been good, they've been patient, because a lot of things that they're calling about are things we would have, in a real rollout, we would have had a parent night, or it's, hey, you bring it to school the next day and it's fixed. So a lot of things we're dealing with are things that you normally wouldn't have in a rollout, but when you do it in a week, you know, some of those things that you would have covered, you know, correct rollout, you know, wouldn't have come up. So those little things start to pile up. But the parents have been great. I mean, they've been, maybe they're just happy to talk to another adult sometimes too. So
I'm gonna say
they're like,
yes.
hey, can you just hang on, and what's going on? They've just, it's just been in a sad situation. There's just been a lot of awesome things to witness from the teachers and just the people, just the humanity that has come out has just been, you know, I think it's one of these things we'll look back on and just think, you know, I got to witness some greatness from people.
And we just have to
My
hang
time
on and
in
see
you.
what happens with test scores, and bless our little third graders' hearts, you know, this was their first time to take
Well,
STAR.
I never, as other districts or many places are celebrating, our teachers and principals are devastated because they were so excited.
Yeah.
And
So ready for this.
yeah,
Mhm.
they worked so hard this year, and
And that's part of the question that I'm hearing is, are we going to live under the umbrella of the now it would be 2 years ago, scores?
we will not be rated is what we're being told. Our campus will be not rated for 1920.
Coming to Harvey, those
Like
campuses got
Those
great.
campuses.
They were not rated, so.
For the
And I
entire
know
city.
it's hard for you.
Yeah.
All right. Any more discussion? Okay. All right, moving on to item 3C, which is the superintendent search timeline. Here's a copy of our timeline that we agreed upon informally. And I've had various conversations with Butch over the last week, prior to this afternoon's, what'd you call it, a declaration by the governor?
Emergency
An
order.
emergency declaration. This was the deal. So tomorrow we're supposed to, well, we still are, we'll get our applications will be emailed to us, and I hope all of you got that email from TASB with all the instructions. So our original plan was to meet with TASB on April 7th. TASB is on lockdown. They can't leave their homes, basically. So they were not going to be able to physically be here to meet with us. Maybe we can meet with them remotely, I don't know. Or do we push it back? Do we do, you know, there's a lot of questions here. And if we do decide to meet to discuss the applicants, do we all come together in this room again like this, or do we video conference? Many questions. Then we're supposed to start the interviews on 14th, you know. So if we stay on schedule, again, do we do those in person? Do we ask people to come in all the way into Seguin to interview? Will they be willing to come? I don't know. Will they be able to come? And should we consider doing this by video conferencing, which I think, I personally wouldn't like that idea because I like meeting somebody in person. You can really learn a lot about a person by their behavior. So, long story short, I talked to Butch this afternoon, and we both recommend that we put the search on, we just table it for a while until things settle down. Now, we do have Dr. Gutierrez, his contract goes through the end of June.
So we'll still get the applications also?
Oh, we'll still get the applications, yeah. So,
We can still review the applications.
review the applications, be ready.
Give us more time.
I had put together a timeline, if y'all want to hear it, but it's very optimistic. May 5th. We're going to get together and review the applications and then do the interviews the following week. And then 2 weeks later have the follow-up interviews, and then sometime during our normal board meeting in May, vote and then hire, maybe, you know, all this is very hypothetical. So I think that we might just need to push it back and see what happens and
Are other districts that have these?
Yes, he said they have been,
They're
yes.
pushing it back, so we're not losing any
No.
competitive advantage.
correct. All right. So what we'll do is keep you in the loop. All right, is everybody okay with that, considering the situation?
Well, what are we gonna say? No?
I think everybody needs to look through the applications and find their top,
6 to 9?
prioritize them and have them ready, so when we do get together, we can all look at them and say, hey, these are our top ones.
It
Have
gives
that
us a little
ready.
more time,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
And if everybody gets their applications and they say, hey, I found everybody, these are my top ones, and we can all agree on it, why don't we meet at that point and like
One
hammer
way or
out
another.
Yeah.
Our top 5
Yeah.
ahead.
Right.
And if we're not there, go back. I mean, that would be okay
There's
with
a-
video conferencing.
There are a lot of things, yeah. That could be.
Yeah, that could be easy.
Could we have like an
video conference. We could
initial,
do a Zoom.
hey, this is what I'm thinking, what are you?
Correct.
Because basically what you do is you take your top ones and write them all on the board. Everybody push a hash mark by the ones that everybody had, and the top ones that have the most
We
hash
can do
marks.
that remotely if we have to.
Want a tentative, maybe?
Let's just wait.
I was gonna say, I need a little longer to read these because I'm a
Yeah,
teacher all day now.
it's actually kind of a blessing, if you think about it.
Yeah, but you're off on Saturday and Sundays.
I still have children
When
on
you get
Saturday.
summers off.
And you get summers off.
Summer's off. All right, so, let's move on to closed session. So we're going to adjourn into closed session pursuant to the following sections of the Texas Opens Meeting Act. Texas Government Code 551.071, 551.074, 551.129, which is consultation with legal counsel, including possible telephone consultation with legal counsel as necessary to address legal concerns, implications, and answer any legal questions regarding posted agenda items. Texas Government Code 551.074 to discuss personnel matters, including appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment duties, discipline, or dismissal of an employee or employees. Number 1, discussion regarding the Rodriguez Elementary principal. Number 2, discussion regarding AJB Middle School principal. And then pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071 and 551.074, discussion regarding superintendent contract. So we will now go into closed session. It is 7:48.
Can we have a break?
Let's take a break and reconvene at
Are we
7:50. Okay, we are now back in open session. It is 8:47. And we're going to move on to item 5, where the board will take appropriate action if necessary as discussed in closed session. The first up was a possible action to select Rodriguez Elementary School principal.
Make a motion that we follow the action on A1 to accept Yolanda Grijalva as the principal for the Rodriguez Elementary.
Second. I have a motion to select Yolanda Grijalva for the principal at Rodriguez Elementary. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Ms. Duncan. And is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0. Item 5A2 is possible action to select A.J. Briesemeister, middle school principal.
Make a motion for A2 to accept Mark, Mr. Diaz?
Dr. Diaz.
Dr. Diaz, I'm sorry, excuse me. Dr. Diaz as a principal for A.J. Briesemeister Middle School.
I have a motion from Mr. Guerra to select Dr. James Diaz as A.J. Briesemeister Middle School Principal. Second from Mr. Amador. Are there any further questions or discussion on that? Not, all in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0. And then now moving on to item 6, our consent agenda items to consider and possibly approve as applicable. We have under policy BE local, the consent agenda shall include items of routine and or recurring nature grouped together under one action item. All such items shall be acted upon by one vote without separate discussion unless a board member requests that an item be withdrawn for individual consideration. The remaining items shall be adopted under a single motion and vote as applicable. We have item A, approval of board minutes of public hearing February 24th, 2020, the regular board meeting February 24th, 2020, and the special meeting March 16th, 2020. B, approval of tax collection reports for February 2020. C, approval of proposed budget amendments and financial statements for February 2020. D, approval of donations received February 2020. E, Seguin ISD resolution regarding the Office of the Governor's Truancy Prevention Grant. F, approval of attestation for attendance waiver. I hope I said that word right. Okay. G, instructional material allotment, the TEAC certification for 2020 through 2021. H, consideration and approval of School Health Advisory Council annual report, the SHACA goals and committee members. I, the use of 2019 bond funds associated with various campus improvements. J, campus instructional initiatives presentations. And K, Public Information Act request February and March 2020. Does anybody want me to pull one of those for discussion? If not, do I hear a motion to, I have a motion from Mr. Amador to approve.
Second.
And a second from Ms. Moreno. All in favor, or any further questions or comments? I do want to say that for the SHAC committee, I really do want to tell the committee that we appreciate all the time that you put into the work, and I think it's making a big difference. We appreciate everything that you've done. And also to the principals at Jefferson and Kinnicky, it's a shame you couldn't be here to give us your presentations. So Mrs. White and Mrs. Kaler, thank you for sending those.
They were
We
well
appreciate
done.
it.
Very well done.
And all the teachers as well who helped out with those presentations. Yes, sir. All right, we have a motion, a second, no further discussion. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0. Moving on to item 7A, which is discussion and possible action to grant superintendent hiring authority for certified personnel during a recruiting season. I think this is something that we do each and every year.
Yes, so it's hiring season, and the closure of our schools will not stop that. We'll have to go about interviews virtually or phone interviews, but that season is starting to pick up, and we go through this on an annual basis, granting myself, the superintendent, with your approval, hiring authority through the summer months.
Madam President, I move to grant the superintendent hiring authority for certified personnel during the recruiting season.
Okay, I have a motion from Ms. Duncan and a second from Mr. Jenkins. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. All right. Moving on to item 8, board comments and requests. I do want to say that Ms. Moreno had sent a link for a webinar that I sat in on this afternoon. I don't know, Mr. Guetta, did you sit in? Mr. Jenkins, did you have a chance? It was about discussing how we're going to conduct our meetings in the future during this period of time of COVID. So I think that Mr. Lewis and Mr. Hoffman and Dr. Gutierrez are all working to figure out how we're going to conduct our meetings in the future. So just that webinar was very informative, so I wanted to thank you for letting us know about it.
Just a suggestion for somebody, another board member in another district said they started out their video conferencing by doing Zoom, but they came to the central office and paired each board member with the IT person so they could get comfortable going through it. And now I think they're going to the point where they can Zoom at home.
Yeah, we'll have to do a run with groups of 2 or 3 over that.
And I'm going to
works
need
out.
some extensive training on, I've never been a moderator on a Zoom. I've just been a participant, and I know there's a lot more for the moderator. So I'm going to need some time. Thank you. Anybody else?
So I will also need this.
Okay.
We're going to try to make it as smooth as possible. And we also have headsets. They did recommend that we utilize headsets, and you're more than welcome to take one. It's a USB plug. You may already have one at home, but I think it's a good practice to use a headset because you can completely hear and
No
you can hear
background.
when you're talking, no background.
Okay.
But a webinar is not possible for a meeting, right, Bill? Doing it in the webinar format?
Yes, so it'll be, so I've asked the service center to maybe help us set that up because they have a global license for Zoom. So we have them help set it up. So it would be 8 of y'all would be on video, and then we would mute everybody else, of course. And so y'all would all have the ability to talk at any point, and then we'll work out how to do public comments, whether through a second option, like maybe a call-in, maybe they sign up ahead of time, because you can set a date to call, let us know if you want to speak to the board, and we could either have a call-in, or they could, we could unmute them on Zoom, and then they could be live that way. There's a couple different ways. They really suggest using a separate system.
Right.
So maybe maybe I would run the call in, and I would either call the person and have them on a speakerphone and then make that, audible to everybody to hear, or you could do it where they write it in or video it. I don't really suggest those. I try to keep it live, and we can find a way for community input.
Okay.
During the webinar, they also mentioned the challenging part would be when you go into closed session.
And that's when they suggested a second platform.
Use
So what we would do there is I would probably do like a Google Hangout.
Right.
So you log into your Gmail, and then I'd send everybody an invitation, and you would need only 8 people with that link.
That's easy. Just click on the link.
Yeah, it just comes up.
And again, there'll be a run through, but that was one of the things that they did recommend is using a different platform
closed
to
session.
ensure security.
It's a whole new world out there.
Oh, I've seen some cases where actually people jump into meetings and are supposed to be in there in the Zoom. We use Zoom at work a lot,
Yes.
but I've seen on World News one time when they would just pop in and start disrupting the
Yeah, I've
meeting.
seen that as
You
well.
can
You can add passwords to your meeting
You can.
if you have an account. Like, so I put passwords on my meetings, so that doesn't.
I don't know how
not
that would
anyone
work
wants
with
to
a
see the
public
Girl
meeting.
Scouts.
It's the hacker's word for you.
Yeah.
Password. Anyway. All right. Any other, one more thing?
Is there anything that could happen that you would need authorization from the board that you could,
We haven't thought of.
you can take the action and you'll do it?
I think we're,
If something like that were to come up, we'd probably have to hold another.
we've already adopted a
Whatever
resolution.
it is, work on whatever.
Yeah. We've adopted a resolution
At the
to
last
where
one.
we need, if there's anything that needs to be done, that authority is with the superintendent as we go through this crisis. Keeping the board informed throughout.
All right. If no further questions or discussion, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Mr. Amador, second?
Second.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Moreno. All in favor? Wave goodbye. Meeting is ending at 8:57.